Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November 13th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update, and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. Send this link out to you guys here in the premium. Link sent out. All right. Looks like we are good to go. So as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. Let's move this down here, make it easier for us. All right. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November 13th. It is 6:24 right now. Market's going to open in about 6 minutes. So for the liquidity over here, I typically only mark up like the higher highs and the lower lows, but I'm just going to mark up every high low that's untested. Since we're kind of looking at everything now, not just specific entries with regard to the scalps, I'm going to look at I'm going to look at whatever is possible on the chart. So whether it be a higher high or lower low for liquidity, or if it be a high low or a high low or a lower high for a high low scalp, I'll mark them up just so that you guys can kind of see where all the possible entries can be, because there's a lot of entries that can happen on here. It's not just like a couple. There's a ton of entries on here that that can kind of play through. So I'm going to do that moving forward, just so that we have a better idea as like what can happen. Like for example, right here, you guys can see there's a ton of liquidity on both ends. It's not just on like one end or the other. I just marked up liquidity right here. If you guys are curious as to what the price is right here on the right side. I would name them all, but there's way too many here. So like there's the first level right here, which is 44,119, and it goes up to 44,131. There's three levels of liquidity right here. And then same with this one below right here. There's a high low right here, or a higher low. It's at 44,087, which is right next to current price, but there's a whole bunch right below it. So there's just a big amount of liquidity kind of sitting around here. Then below down here, there's a lot of higher level liquidity because this is on the higher time frame. So 6:25 right now, market's going to open up in about 4 minutes. Guys, I made a small adjustment to the breakout. It's nothing major. It's just basically doing the opposite of what we've been doing with regards to momentum, because the market conditions have changed. I've done a ton of tests last night, and I'm still going to be doing more tests. I found a way how to test it even farther back on the 1 minute. filling in the missing data that we've had. So what I'm going to do over the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, is I'm going to pull a ton of data, like as much data as I can possibly pull off the breakout, and I'm going to figure out which direction we should be trading. The direction we were trading before worked better during a sideways market, but now it's the market's kind of moving more directional here, so we will be trading slightly differently, not a lot, but slightly differently for the breakout. So I'll be taking the breakout today, and I will be telling you what direction in about 3 minutes. So, all right, who's here so far? Morning, Barack. Morning, Jamie. Morning, Taryn. Morning, Daniel. Morning, CJ. Morning, everybody. All right, guys, ready to get this started? Hey, Layla. Morning. All right, we got market opening up in about 3 minutes. I'll know the direction of the breakout in about 2 minutes. Yeah, the market here is pretty flat right now. Super flat. We had news over here at 5:30, I believe. High impact news, inflation. We had CPI news right here. It was mixed. A lot of inflation news. CPI, October CPI, inflation rate, core inflation rate, etc. We have the Fed speaking at 6:45, and that's about it. So Fed speaking right over here at 6:45. All right, guys. Like I said, we got a bunch of liquidity on both ends right here. Looking at current price, breakout for today is going to be a sell. All right, guys, breakout for today is going to be a sell. Got 40 seconds left, not a lot of time. Thirty seconds left. It's like no other news for today. We'll see. So what I'm anticipating is price probably fill that big green candle that came down earlier. So you got market opening up in about 10 seconds. Market opening up in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is open. Price is going up a little bit. Make sure everything here is
order filled.
What should be. Let's see. 67. Just that one point. There's not too much direction here. Right now on open. Then I'll let it right there and we'll come back to it. So there's not really much movement here. The liquidity up top got hit. Pretty much all that liquidity right there. Price is now coming down a little bit. I mean, there's just no direction right here. Price is just kind of staying flat. So we'll see what happens here. Price is really just kind of staying down the middle. You see market open was right up here. Yeah, there just isn't much movement here on open, guys. But the liquidity up here got hit, so I'm looking for liquidity to possibly come down here and knock out all this lower liquidity and come down to our TP, which is right here, this black line. So it's pushing down a TP right there. It's knocking out the liquidity a little bit. And that's crazy. The market's like really, market's open, but it's not really moving anywhere. It's kind of just sitting there. Anyways, we have liquidity sitting down here. So we have a bunch of targets around this area. For our scalp entries, I just don't see anything for us to take here right now specifically. Yeah, the market's really flat right now for open, which is really unusual. It's never really this flat. So we got really close to our TP. We're off by only like a few points, it looks like. I was hoping to push down to that next level of liquidity, just like spike down there real quick and then hit our TP, but there's just no direction. You can see prices just going sideways right here. Opening price is that blue line. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit right here. So this is opening price. And price is not really moving. ATR is currently at 26. Let's go to our clean chart real quick. So it looks like the range is currently between the 150 mark, 50 mark, and the midpoint is right here at the 100 mark. So price is kind of just sitting right here down the middle of this 100 mark right here is like basically the baseline. And yeah, price is just not really moving very much. Very unusual open. Like really no movement. I was anticipating the market to probably move because of the news from today. You know, it was a mixed market right here. High impact news, big spike right here at 5:30, but after that, price kind of just mellowed out and stayed flat. See if there's any news over here for CNBC real quick. So let's see what it says here. Stocks are a little changed as traders assess state of post-election rally. New inflation data released. Yeah, there's nothing here. Just the news that happened at 5:30. So CPI rise to 2.6 in October as expected. So consumer price rose slightly in October, though the increase was in line with expectations. The consumer price index gained by 0.2% month over month, 2.6 from the year period, which is expected. You know, inflation is meant to go up, especially because I mean, with Trump president, inflation is going to go up even higher. So we have price right here rejecting off the opening price. But again, there's still no. I just find this really weird that the market's not moving right at open. There's not going to be any scalps here for me to take, of course. Not taking any scalps here yet. Liquidity got wiped out from the top side. We still have liquidity down here. We still got some more liquidity right here that hasn't gotten hit. But yeah, very unusual open right here. You can see our opening prices right here at the blue line. Price is still not really moving. There's a target right here though, so I'm hoping price comes down and just wipes out that liquidity. Our TP for the breakout's down there. It's still in profit, but it's kind of just sitting there right now. So breakout is still holding. You just need to get down to this liquidity. I'm probably not going to take any scalps until price breaks out of this area because it's like super flat at the moment. Hey, Becky, morning. Glenn's asking if we're using a 100 TP stop loss. We're still using 50-50 for right now, Glenn. Market volatility hasn't really confirmed that it's going to pick up consistently yet. So we're sticking to 50-50. So we got liquidity right there, just got hit. We're really close to our TP, only off by a few points. So you get that sell signal there to close. Once it closes, it's pushing out a little further. Full TP right there, guys. All right, so full TP for the breakout right there. Solid win.
Target filled.
Target filled. Nice win right there. So we got a win for the breakout. Currently at break even for the week for breakout entries. All right, so that looks good. That looks good. Let me post the update over here. Guys, so one thing to look out for, which I've been getting a lot of friend requests from from these scam pages. So just remember, I'm never gonna add you guys. Like you're probably never gonna see me add you guys. I just want to make sure you guys never get scammed, right? Yeah, Abhay over here said that the scammer he asked them to invest 500. You can't invest 500 into the hedge fund. It's impossible. So just keep that in mind. And I don't take any money from anybody. For the hedge fund, I just trade your account. I don't take any money from you. So just a heads up, guys. I'm never going to add you. You can see there's a bunch of these fake Kodi Kai accounts. My username is Kodi Kai Trades. There's no one in there. There's no S in there. It's like Kodi Kai Trades with 3 S's. It's not going to be me. So just a heads up, because I just got another ad here from a scam account. And I want to make sure that you guys aren't getting scammed by any of these scammers. So let me post the profits over here for the breakout. I know for the breakout results over here, guys, we're putting 100 for the TP stop loss, but that's only because, or not for the TP stop loss, for the stats, but that's only because it needs to be weighed against the previous breakouts that we took prior. So just keep that in mind, guys. There we go, full TP on the breakout. I'll post up the direction, or I'll post up my profits actually. I'm waiting for the market here to stabilize a little bit before we start taking some scalps, because there's just no direction right now. So no reason to take anything at the moment. So let me just post my profits real quick for the breakout. Okay, and let me turn off this laptop. I'm all done with my hedge fund laptop. Hedge laptop is now closed. And now we are going to focus on scalps on my scalp laptop. All right, let me change the mouse on here. All right, so we'll look for some entries here now. Here are my profits from that entry. We took a sell right here for the breakout, hit full TP, little to no drawdown. Took a little while to hit though. It took about like almost 10 minutes. Here's my profits. I locked in 1,470 on my personal account. Here's the hedge fund client accounts. Locked in 500, 530, 460, 1,500 per account here, about 500 per account here. And that's that for right now. So there goes the profits for the hedge and the breakout. Now we're looking for profits over here for the scalps, which I'm going to be taking on my Apex accounts. So I'm going to keep updating these high lows over here. There's another high low right here, guys. This is a high low scalp, but because of the current movement, I probably wouldn't take the entry here yet. I'd probably look for a confirmation. So when the market's not really moving directional, I would wait for a confirmation, because if you get a fake out like this, where it's a high low scalp, but this comes back down right after, this is basically a high low scalp V2. If you guys remember that, this means it's a reversal. So price breaks above it. If you get this red candle right here, it's probably going to be a sell instead of the buy that you initially thought it would be. So only take high low scalps when market is ranging very heavily. Right now, it's not ranging super heavily. So this is probably going to be a high low scalp V2. All right, so there's still no direction here. Again, if you guys are not familiar with these strategies, I recommend you go to the website. So just go to the website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here. This is what the course looks like. You're going to see a lot of the more recent strategies up here, but if you scroll down further, you're going to see every strategy we have applied for the past 8 years. There's a lot of different variations of the high-low. There's high-low scalp V2. There's the levels strategy. There's so many different strategies out there that you can use. And this is just one example of them, right? High-low scalp into high-low scalp V2. So there's no direction here right now. Again, I'm going to keep marking up these levels here so that you guys can be aware of like where high-low scalps can appear. But the thing with current price is that it's not moving any direction, right? Price is going back and forth right here. So I don't recommend that you guys take any scalps here, at least not yet. Unless you guys want to take these market flow V2s, there's an entry that happened right here at the 20 mark. I mean, it was right at the opening price, so a little tricky, but there's a market flow V2 that is currently running right now. So price pushed up, we had a buy signal, pivots are starting to spread out. Price are traced down right here. The nearest whole number to the pivot was the 120, 44,120. That's where it would have filled, and it's currently running right now. If you took it for 10 points or your stop loss moved in profit for 10 points, your TP would have gotten hit right now. If you held it for the full 30, it's currently still running. We got the Fed speaking right here at 6:45. I'm going to delete that. We already have an idea. It's not going to be a specific news event. It's just the Fed speaking. So right there, if you took the market flow V2 at the 120, that's one that I would have taken if the market was moving directional. But right now, the market's just not moving very directional. I think the fact that I'm marking up these high lows are going to give us a better picture of like how market is actually moving. Because if these high lows end up very close, like you see how they start to squeeze in like this, then this means that market isn't really moving very directional at all. And if you look over here to the clean chart, you can see it's a little more obvious, right? It's actually really obvious right here. This is why I have multiple charts open so that you guys can have an understanding as to like how the market's moving. Look at how the market's moving here as a clean chart, and also look at how the market's moving over here with all of our tools, right? Because you can see here that it is ranging sideways, but if you guys aren't used to seeing all of my tools on the chart, you can see over here in the clean chart, it's a little more obvious. Price is really just going back and forth between this range here. Initially, this was the first range. I just added another level up here. This level doesn't have to be up here. I can just take it off actually, so it's easier to see. You guys can have your main focus between this area right here in the middle. So whenever price pulls out of it, you can see right here, price pulled out, faked out. Right? So it's really just staying within this range right here, just within this middle area. So once we get price to actually break out of this area and continue climbing higher, then okay, great. We'll start looking for some buys there. But right now, I just don't see that. Price is just going sideways here. I don't like trading in a sideways market. I personally like trading in a directional market since the way I trade is momentum with trend. Right now, we have a trend that's starting to establish, and then we have momentum that's starting to take off as well. But this is the initial push. So if you guys are looking to take some market flow V2s, again, there could be possible opportunity right here at the 40 mark, it looks like. Right there at the 40 mark. Looking to see how this candle here closes or how it ends up moving. So if you wanted to take that entry right there, it looks like it would have filled already for the market flow V2. If you're going for 10 points. So typically when I take entries, if you guys are new here and you're not familiar with how I take my entries, I take them with a 30-30 TP stop loss, but my trailing stop moves up to 10 points. So when price pushes up to this 10-point mark, my trailing stop will fill, or it'll move my stop loss in profit to 10 points. And then I continue reaching for the full 30-30. I just use that to pretty much protect my profits. But like I said, market here is not moving directional at all. Whenever price goes out of this range, it just fakes out back into the range. So that's why I'm not taking any entries here right now, at least not at this moment. If I'm going to take an entry, I'm probably going to look for a V1 variation. So I'll probably look for a V1 variation, maybe for a V1 variation buy, because the trend here is bullish. Let's look at all the other time frames. So the 1 minute's bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 1 hour is trying to shift back up to bullish, 4 hours bullish, and daily's bullish. So for the most part, overall, the trend is bullish. So what I would be looking for here is I would be looking for a double body rejection from the bottom side, but I'd look for a pending buy signal. So in order for me to take that, I need to have a sell signal come in place. Once that sell signal is up, then I'll start looking for price to climb back up higher. Right now, I'm not feeling the market at the moment. Like even on open, market was pretty flat. So I'm looking for this sell signal here to close. Once the sell signal closes right here, then I'll start looking for some entries, at least for some V1 variations. This price is going sideways right now. There's basically three main strategies that you can look for. You can look for some V1 variations, CV consolidation variation entries, or you can look for high level momentum scalps. Those are probably going to be the three main strategies that you want to apply right now because price is going sideways, right? The three main sideways strategies in our playbook that you want to look for are V1 variations, CV patterns, and high-level momentum scalps. Those are currently the ones to apply. You can take market flow V2s, but again, like I said, there's no flow here, right? In order for you to take directional strategies, you need markets to be moving directional to the upside like this, or you need markets to be moving directional to the downside like this. If this isn't happening, then there's no point in taking those types of trades because market is not moving directional. Right now, market's going sideways. So what do you do in a sideways market? You apply sideways strategies. So just keep that in mind, guys. You got to keep it simple. I feel like a lot of people want to overcomplicate it. They have like a million different strategies out there. I know we have a lot of strategies, but they're all very similar. They're just different entry points. But there's just two main concepts to it. We have strategies for markets going sideways, and we have strategies for markets going directional. Right now, market is going directional. Market is going sideways. It's not going directional. So you want to stick to mainly like V1 variations. Those are probably gonna be the easiest ones to identify and take. It's easy to get faked out in this type of market right here if you're taking directional moves because there's no direction here. You can easily get in at the wrong time and price can easily just come right back into the range, right? So just be smart about your entries, guys. Again, if you're new here, go ahead and check out the website if you want to learn these strategies. Go to the website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access. This is completely free here just to like learn my strategies. If you want the tools, of course, you can sign up for the tools. But for the most part, if you go here, module 3 explains all the indicators. So if you want to understand what all these tools are here, or if you just want a refresher, like if you forget what the momentum indicator does, if you forget what this ribbon is right here, if you forget what these lines, this purple, green, red line is, if you forget what these high lows, high low momentum scalps, whatever they may be, it's all explained on the website. All right, there's a ton of information on there. So if you guys are on this live session right now, whether you're new or you're old, if you came back after a long break and you're confused, just check out the website, understand what everything means because it'll benefit you even more. If you're here just to listen to my analysis and take the trades that I take, then it's going to help you so much because you're going to be able to anticipate the entries coming up. Like for example, right here, we're looking for a V1 variation, right? So in order for me to take this V1 variation, I need to get a sell signal right here because we need that pending momentum. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm looking for the sell signal here to close. Once this sell signal closes, I'm going to look for price to come down and bounce right back up. Once it bounces right back up, I'm going to look for that V1 variation pattern. And then I'm going to take my entry there for a buy. The trend right now is bullish, so I'm only looking for buys right now. That's another thing too. Like you should always try to have some sort of bias in the market. It's hard when you're trading both ways. You want to have some sort of bias because even if you make a mistake, like for example here, if I make a mistake and I get in like super early, because we have a bullish trend here, I can make a mistake. Price can easily come down close to my stop loss maybe, and then correct right back up. Right, and this only applies for the directional moves and for sideways moves when there is some actual trend here. So I'm gonna keep adjusting this. This is another reason why, or this is another way to identify how price is ranging, right? Because you can see how these high lows, they're not really moving higher high. They're not moving higher. They're not moving lower. You can see it's a box right here. If I was to draw a range from like the nearest high low that's untested, it's a box. So we're currently right now in a range. So right here now, price is finally coming down a little bit. Look for the fake out again right here. So see how this candle broke and closed below this high low? This is actually a triple confluence, but I wouldn't take this here because the trend doesn't align with it. So this is more like a double confluence. We have a high-low scalp breaking below it. Actually, there's not even a double confluence here. This is just a high-low scalp. A high-low scalp without the trend. So if we had something like this, but on the upside, that'd be a triple confluence. But right here, we have a sell signal that's breaking, closing past the high-low. This is just a normal high-low break. You can't really have a triple confluence unless you're going in the direction of the trend. So in order for us to have that, we would have needed this sell signal to actually close like down here. Because at that point, the trend would be shifting. But let's go back to our clean chart. So like I said earlier, nothing's changed, right? Looking at our clean chart here, I said whenever price breaks past this range right here, it's going to fake out and pull right back into the middle of the range. And that's exactly what happened here. The range is happening right down this middle area. Whenever it pulls above here, it'll come back down. Whenever it pulls down here, it comes right back up. So this is kind of where price is sitting. This is the baseline for price right now, right down the middle here. In order for us to really have some sort of direction, we need something like this to happen. We need price to break below, retest it, come back lower. Once we have something like that, we can start taking the directional moves. But right now, just don't have that. And I just don't see anything here as well to line up with it. Let's see, Brock said he's waiting for a close under 44,070 to take entry. Gotcha, okay. So Barack's entry point or his threshold for sell is gonna be right here at 44,070. So we'll see, Barack. We'll follow that and we'll see where that ends up going. All right, we don't really have much right now. Price is kind of just sitting right here. Daniel said, what's the reasoning behind flipping the direction of the breakout? It's the market conditions, Daniel. So if you follow the market conditions, well, I mean, you wouldn't follow it, but I followed it because I have all the data from the breakouts. The opposite direction of the momentum typically works well during a slower sideways market. So like earlier in the season, right? So like basically up until elections. So whenever we started using it, basically September. So basically from the summer, that's why I need to pull the data. But like from what I've seen in the data is basically the slower markets. Basically summer up until we'll say right before October. So basically June, see, yeah, June up until October, the opposite movement worked well. That was the one that we were typically using. And then October, so if you follow the data from September, it was like hitting all the time. We had like back-to-back wins. It was pretty consistent. And then in October, we started having more of a break-even month, right? I think for October, we had like one net win. So what I did is I pulled the data together and I was like, okay, this is when it works opposite. And then now we're going into the more volatile season, which is basically late October or basically, yeah, basically October up until December and then into the new year. It just flips. So that's why we flipped it because, and that's what I said when we first came up with the breakout. I said, for right now, the opposite is working. Like, you know, obviously we'll do whatever's, whatever the momentum is going to swing to on open. But I said, once this stops working, we're probably just going to flip it. Because the thing is with the strategy, it only works one way, right? I mean, it works one way, but it's going to be way heavier in one direction. So either you go with momentum or you go against momentum. There's always going to be like the needle is going to go heavier on one side or the other. And what I've noticed with the data that I pulled, because the thing is I'm able to pull the 1 minute data farther back. Like I can literally go back the entire year on the 1 minute. Previously, we could only go back like a month. I don't know if TradingView just started to allow that, but I was just playing around with the rewind, where I don't even need to rewind it. I can just pull it back. So for example, here, let's go to a chart that we're not using. Here's the SR chart, right? We're in November right here. Let me refresh it real quick. Like typically you can only go back like 1 month. Like you can go back to like say, or it's November 13th. So like I think the farthest you can go back is probably like October 13th. TradingView is always updating stuff. So like typically you can only go back to like October 20th right here. Let's update this real quick. I don't know if it's just that chart, but anyways, let me go over here now. Because now I can pull the data to see like how it's working for the entire year versus like just like the past month or so. That was the whole problem about applying the breakout. I don't know why it's not working this now. Here, let me just rewind it real quick. It's working last night. Okay, so this thing goes back pretty far now. And you can see all my data right here because I was like literally on the charts, just I was mining data the whole time. For some reason, it keeps getting stuck. 229. Yeah, and I can just go back pretty far with the data. So what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks or next couple of days, probably next couple of days, next couple of weeks, is I'm going to be mining the data, basically the breakout data for like all of the all the breakouts because I'm trying to find the pattern like where we need to shift it. Right now, the shift is really to go with momentum because that's what's and you can see here I can go back a little to August. I can go back even further. So if you want to go back and test it yourself, Daniel, or anybody wants to test it, I mean, you can do it. I'm gonna do the work already, so I'm gonna be updating my own. I'm gonna create some models for it. There's a couple different things that I'm doing. So, and here we are back to July. But I just wanted to show you guys that like, you can go back really far with the data now, and it's gonna be make a big difference because we'll have enough data to understand, okay, when should we go with momentum, when should we go opposite? Because it's always gonna be like a 50-50 chance. The only time where it's gonna be an issue is where we have the crazy chop, right? So when market opens and you see the crazy chop, like for example, today was kind of some chop. Typically on a breakout, you want price to just go in a direction right away, like whether it goes to your TP or your stop loss. The only time it's going to be an issue is when price kind of chops around a bit. But for the most part, it usually just goes straight to your TP or your stop loss. So right now the data just points towards going with momentum. So from my understanding, just because of the reason why I see that is because of the market conditions. It's kind of similar to like when Trump was last president, when we applied the initial first breakout strategy that we did back in COVID time. We used to go with momentum, but we didn't enter immediately on open. Like what we would used to do is we'd wait for market to open up. And I think, let me see if I can find where the original breakout would have been. So market open right here at 6:30. And you look for a strong candle in the direction of momentum. So it probably would have been, I mean, it probably would have lost, but it probably would have been this candle right here. But this is what I mean, like the chop right here is usually what screws up the breakout. Because when market opens up in the morning, you want it to break out either like in one direction or the other. You just want it to hit your TP or your stop loss right away, like within the first minute or two. That's how the breakout's supposed to work. That's the whole point of the breakout. You don't want it to move around for like 10 minutes before it hits your TP, right? Like it did today. This thing moved around for a long time before it actually came down to hit our TP. This is the whole reason we adjusted from the 100 points to the 50 points because it was no longer a breakout. For example, if we were taking this trade here and we did it for 100 points, we'd still be in this position right now. It wouldn't even be a breakout. It'd be a day trade, right? So in a situation like this, it's like, okay, we don't really want to hold on to it for that long because the breakout's supposed to hit right away. That's why I changed it to 50-50. But anyways, guys, back to the charts. There's nothing going on. So I know we're kind of going off topic with our current analysis, but there's just nothing here happening. Price is going sideways. Let me see if there's any, I mean, there hasn't been any entries here yet. No V1 variations. I guess, I mean, this could be a high-low scalp. I guess if price came down a little more. Got another level right there. The silver here got touched, but didn't actually break through it. So it looks like the range is still in the middle. So market's doing exactly what I warned you guys about. I said if price ever breaks out of this area, it's going to pull right back down to the middle. The actual range is in this area. So whether price pushes above, comes back down, or pushes down and pushes right back up, This midpoint right here is basically like a magnet. So this 100 mark right here, 44,100, this is a magnet. Price gets pulled right back to this middle area and goes sideways. Um, but yeah, so like back what I was saying, Daniel, what I've noticed with the breakout, or not just the breakout, just following momentum, because really the whole breakout strategy is based off my momentum indicator, right? That's like literally all it's based off. There's no other criteria. I try to add another criteria by using the daily candle, but it's kind of pointless because what I noticed is that when I use the daily candle here, I just ended up forcing trades in the direction of the daily. Like I wasn't even using momentum. The other thing that I was looking at, so here's another thing that I was looking, I'm trying to use different models right now just to see how, just to see like how we should be applying the strategy. Another thing that I might implement and I'm going to test as well is matching the daily momentum with the entry. So like if the daily momentum here is bullish, but the entry is a sell, then I would probably just skip this entry. That's another thing. So I always have ideas running in my mind. Like I'm always looking for ways to tweak a strategy just a little bit to improve the win rate or to just increase the possibility of winning with regard to the losses that it incurs. The other rule that we apply, there's a lot of different rules with the breakout. That's why I don't want to create it as a strategy because I know I'm going to keep updating rules and it's just going to keep changing slightly. The only other thing that I really is going to apply is NFP, right? We screwed up last Friday. That was my bad. I forgot for NFP, we're supposed to flip it. But the thing with the NFP from so instead of flipping it, we would just be going in the direction of momentum. So we don't have to flip it anymore, if that makes sense. Because I think you mentioned it, right, Daniel, last Friday, how we were supposed to flip the NFP. If we were going in the direction of the momentum, we wouldn't have to flip it because we were already going in the direction of momentum. So that's one thing that kind of like it like lit a light bulb in my head. I was like, okay, if we're flipping it during certain periods when volatility is high, then instead of flipping it, we should just go in the direction of momentum. The only other thing that I'm going to be looking at for the breakout is if the candle prior to open is like huge, right? That's another thing that I just been documenting it in my stats. Another thing is like when the candle, for say for example, the 629 candle is a big green candle, right? And say we're taking a buy, I'm gonna take the opposite. I'm gonna take a sell. Or if the big candle is a big red candle and we're taking a sell, I'm gonna flip it and do the opposite. But if we're taking a sell here and the candle is green, it wouldn't make a difference because we were gonna take that sell anyways. All right, so like we said earlier, guys, let's go back to the range here. Price is now getting to this lower range area. Let's see if it fakes out and pulls back to this area above. So there's two scenarios here that we're looking for. I'm looking for price to either break below it and continue dropping. So we can start looking for some sells, or I'm gonna look for it to fake out right here and swing back up into the range. Either way, there's a high-low scalp that happened right here. So the trend's starting to shift, guys. There's a high-low scalp that happened right here, but it was right at the session. So it's be a little tricky for entry. Probably only go for like 10 points, but it is dropping right here. So the 10 points would have gotten hit right there already. Well, let's see if it actually gets past it. Yeah, CJ said it's having trouble getting past the sessions. Yeah, per usual, right? That's usually what happens when it gets to that point. So we'll see how price reacts to this area here. I mean, this might be the fake out back up. So the thing to look out for here is two different things. So there's two different scenarios that may play out here. Now that price is below this range, look for price to either continue dropping or look for price to fake out here and swing back up. Right? There's two different scenarios that may play out here at this whole number. The thing on top of that is that it's right at the sessions too. So it's in an area where manipulation will likely happen. So the 30 points hit here. So like, as you guys can see, the scalps are playing through and they're hitting, but it's right at the session. So, I mean, I wouldn't have taken the trade there. I would have taken it if the session's above it, but not below it like it currently is right now. Nice. Sam said he actually bought there for 10 pips points, bought it as a support. 10 point stop loss, green risk free, 40 points done. Nice work, Sam. Yeah, so Sam took a trade there. He took the bounce earlier, looks like around this area, I think. So right when he got out of our breakout, he took it for the bounce and he made 40 points on that. So nice work, Sam. Barack is asking back to news release. I don't think there's any news release here right now. We just had the Fed speak at 6:45. So at 6:45, we had the Fed speaking. So he's been speaking since, probably speaks for about 30 minutes or so. Other than that, we don't have any news until 8 o'clock, which is going to be low impact anyways. So we got price dumping down now. Now that we got price coming down, so price is pretty much doing what we expected for the breakout. So I said earlier when we took the sell for the breakout, I said price is probably going to fill this whole candle right here, right? The news candle. And that's what happened. Price finally did come down. It faked out a bit right here for a little bit. Basically faked out the sellers as it came up, and then it came all the way down. But this is the movement that we were looking for our breakout this morning, right? So when we took the sell, I said, okay, this is probably going to be a good entry because it's going to drop down to fill this candle right here, the news candle. And that is exactly what happened at this point. Yeah, Alicia said a momentum pullback continuation. Yeah, if you guys caught the MPS, there was like an MPS that came up earlier. I mean, you guys can probably still catch some MPSs right here as well. All right, so that high-low scalp was done with. We got price coming down and touching the liquidity down here. Didn't actually break below it, but if you're looking to take an MPS entry, the MPS entry is going to happen. Let's see, it's after this candle. So it'll probably happen right here at the 400 mark. I would be careful though, because price is a bit overextended, right? Price came down super heavy right here. If it ends up closing past the 44,000 mark, then the entry is going to get pushed up to the 10 right here. This is for MPS. This isn't for the market flow V2. This is for MPS. So if you're looking to take an MPS entry, you kind of want to see where this ends up pushing up to. And then the MPS entry is going to happen at the nearest whole number, of course. So basically just waiting for this here to close. This candle's so big though, I probably wouldn't mess with the MPS after on this one. But if you are looking to take it, I'll mark it up for you guys. Again, I think this is a little risky. Entry is going to be right here at the 410 mark, actually. So the 410 right there. Anybody is looking to take that as an MPS. That's going to be the black line right there is going to be the 10-point mark. So I'm just marking it up. I'm going to follow it, but I'm not going to take it myself. I just don't like how it's overextended right here. So that'd be an MPS. If you're looking to take a market flow V2, market flow V2 would actually happen a little higher right here at the 30 mark. So you can see the strategies are pretty much exactly the same. You know, we talked about this last week. Like there's a lot of strategies that we have, but a lot of them are basically the same. They're just different entry points. So the MPS would happen right here. Market flow V2 would happen right here at the 30 mark. So instead of entering so low, that's why I like the market flow V2 because you actually enter like way up here. It's a little bit of a safer entry. But again, like I said, I think this here is going to be a fake out and it's pulling right back up into the range. So it did pretty much what I warned you guys about, right? I said, whenever price comes below this area, look out for the confirmation because what's probably going to happen here is either price is going to break below and continue dropping, or it's going to fake out and pull back into the range, which is exactly what happened here. This is why I don't enter trades right away because I wait for the confirmation. I look to see if price is actually dropping. So in order for us to confirm the drop here, you would have to see that retracement. You need to see something like this and continuation. This here never happened, right? Price just ended up coming down super sharp and then it just reversed on you. So this is what I mean about trading in a market like this. Like this is not a directional market. They try to trick retail traders here to follow this, but it's not really a directional market here. That's why it's important to see how candles move. You want to see that there's actually, like whenever I take an entry for a directional move, I wait for at least one confirmation. Like I try to wait for at least one of these Like I just let this as basically as a confirmation. I wait for this to happen. And then once I see this happen, I'm like, okay, now I can start taking entries down here. Um, so if you waited for that, like I said earlier, if you would have waited for that to happen, you wouldn't have gotten caught in any sells here because the pattern never played through. So you're basically looking for a break and retest. It doesn't have to be a break and retest off structure, but you want to see some sort of break and retest, like price come down, retracement, come down further, retracement, come down further. Another way to identify that is to look at the momentum signals, right? I think that's probably the easiest way to look at it. So let me see if I can find an example over here. So the easiest way to really look for, okay, so here's an example right here. See how price was coming down? We had a sell signal. You got a buy signal right here, right? This is retracement. And then you have another sell signal right here. This is a confirmation of what I was just talking about. I mean, it's a pretty far confirmation, but if you want a really clean confirmation, retracement right there and continuation. Once this happened right here, I'd have been okay with taking some entries down in this area. I wouldn't take anything up here, but I would take some stuff down here. That's pretty much what didn't happen here. Price came up, or it came down, faked out right there at the liquidity, and it came right back up. Some people call this a liquidity grab. Some people call it just manipulation. Some people call it reversal. I mean, you call it whatever you want. But this here, in my opinion, was just a fake out because we were already anticipating this to happen. So just be smart about your entries, guys. That's why I haven't taken anything here on my scalps because there's no entries for me to take. I mean, if I see something good here, there's a V1 variation that came up right here, but I mean, price was so far down that I was like, yeah, this is probably not going to be the entry point for me or the entry time for me because it could have easily came right back down. So this could have been, instead of this fake out happening right here, this could have easily happened. Price could have retraced up, could have came up on this green candle, and then it could have came right back down, right? So that's why I don't really want to mess with it. Now we got price down the middle again right here. Let's see what happens if it ends up pulling back below. Possibility for it to pull back below again. Try to squeeze in one trade today. It's 7:13 right now. We still got a lot of time. So try to squeeze in at least.
I don't know. I mean,
Sorry, guys, my Ninja Trader. I hate how it does that. Trying to figure out a way to make that not happen. It yeah, for some reason the live always comes up. The people who like run Ninja Trader, they have like a live session that's always running. For some reason, it always automatically populates. I'm not trying to play it. All right, so again, I'm just waiting for some confirmation here, guys. If I see a V1 variation from the top side, then I'll probably take that right back down. But as of now, there's just nothing here for us to take. Price is kind of really close to the sessions right here as well. So there's just a lot of reasons not to take any entries here. I guess we'll just kind of see what happens here as price moves along. All right, we're back stuck in the range right here. Zoom out again. So we're back into this lower range. As price kind of climbs back up. Man, I was really hoping to get one entry today for the scalps, but I'm not going to force anything here. Not going to FOMO into anything. I'm just going to wait. So either we get some direction and I take a directional move, or I look for a V1 variation and I take a V1 entry. It's probably what I'm looking for here. Ideally, probably a V1 variation. Yeah, there hasn't been any V1 variations this whole day. I don't really see any entries here, really. Here, let me mark this up. So I'll keep flipping between the charts so that you guys can kind of see between a clean chart and a messy chart. Um, it looks messy. It might look messy to a lot of people here, but it makes sense to me. I think it makes sense to a lot of people here too, because what I'm doing here is I'm marking up all of the untested high lows because these are turning into liquidity, right? Basically, people who chase to sell right here, there's all these untested high lows. What happens when people typically enter a trade here? Like, for example, if someone entered a sell at this point, where do you think someone's going to place their stop loss? At the swing high, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm basically trading opposite of everybody, or I'm analyzing it opposite of everyone. If people are looking to take sells here, I'm looking for their stop loss to get hit, right? So if price pushes up here, you can pretty much predict that, okay, this is where someone's stop loss is. Market maker is looking to stop these people out, and there you go. Whoever entered a sell right here because they thought price was going to come back down, right? Where do people always place their stop loss? At the swing high. That's why I never place my stop loss at the swing high. Like that's such a common place for people to place your stop loss. You don't want to place your stop losses there because that's where everyone else's stop losses are. And you can see right here, just wipe people out. So whoever was taking the sell here, price came up, hit their stop loss, and then it'll probably come back down. That's why like the way I trade, and a lot of you guys have been following me for a while, I trade very different compared to everyone else because I don't want to trade how everyone else is trading. Everyone places their stop loss at swing highs. Like for example, here, I'm pretty sure like you see this happen with a lot of people, even probably yourself. You see price come down, someone enters a sell right here. Like let's just go back over here. I'm going to replay to this candle right here because I see people do this a lot. Right? People see that they see this drop right here and it breaks structure, right? So it breaks structure down here. Like see, this is support. And this is like where people are like, okay, it broke structure. They're going to enter a sell at this point. And what do? They place their stop loss at the swing high, which is right there, right? And then what happens here is their TP is super far down. Right? Their TP is like way down here. Because everyone always typically goes for like a 3-to-1, right? So someone goes for like way up here. And then what happens is price comes down a little bit, they got all excited, and then price comes all the way back up. And then where do you think price is trying to go to? It's trying to go right back to that swing high to stop them out. And I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you guys. Like this is why I don't like using like big TP stop losses, or I don't like my style isn't for big TPs because this tends to happen very often. You'll see price come down and then you don't move your stop loss in profit. That's why I have a trailing stop because for me, like I said yesterday, you can't go broke taking profit. Like that's always been my mantra, like from the beginning of trading. That's why for me, before I would always go for 10 points. Now I just move my stop loss in profit at 10 points, but I aim for the full 30. But the market conditions do have to meet my criteria. So just think about this right here as price climbs up higher. If price does push back up, or even right here, there's a lower high right there. If a new low gets established, like say, for example, price comes down a little bit and it comes back up, you can expect this to be a lot of people's stop losses. So, one way to trade too is I wouldn't really take liquidity like that, but you could take liquidity like something like this here. Like in a ranging market, we currently have a lower high right here. If you get a low over here, like say a higher low, it's like a ping pong move. You can see price kind of come down a little bit. And then if you get a low established right here, you can probably ride this back up to here to watch these people get stopped out. This is like a liquidity grab, but there's no low here yet. So if I see the example come up, I'll show you guys. But all these tools that I created, I created them for a reason. Basically, I created these tools to identify where people are getting stopped out. And that's why we trade in that way. Like some people like to trade liquidity. That's basically what liquidity is. You're basically hunting people's stop losses. We don't have a low here yet. So until we have a low, you can't really hunt this stop loss because the stop loss isn't going to be established until, and there we go. So now we have a low right here. So now that we have a low here, you can look for a V1 variation pattern and then hunt the stop loss up here. You just gotta be ahead of the game. That's really how this trading game works. Everyone kind of trades a certain way, but there's no wrong way to trade. So the thing that you guys want to keep in mind is that there's no wrong way to trade. You just have to know when to trade your style when the market's moving in your favor. Right now, the market's not moving in our favor. It's not moving directional, so a lot of our directional strategies are probably not going to work right now. We do have some sideways strategies, but I keep them to a minimum because I don't like trading sideways, as you guys know. So what I'd be looking for here is I'd be looking for this here to kind of come down and then come back up. Or look for the low here. So there's two different scenarios here. One scenario is price either come down, give me a V1 variation, and then I take that V1 variation to the upside, or a low gets established here. Say, for example, we get a low at this point. Price comes up, I get a V1 variation right here, and then I hunt this stop loss, right? There's two stop losses to hunt. There's one up here and there's one down here. It just depends on like where the criteria is lining up. If I get a V1 variation from the bottom end, then I can write it up. If I get a V1 variation from the top end, I can write it down. The reason why we can go both directions right now is because there's no direction. Price is just going sideways. So you can basically hunt stop losses in both directions. It's just you need to have some sort of criteria to really push you in that direction, which would be a V1 variation pattern. Let's see, William's asking, hey, Sean, have you heard of Fidias? Apparently you can have 20 accounts. Yeah, I've heard of Fidias. Here, let me check. I'm in a group where let's see, I'm in a group where one of my friends, he tries them out. So Fidias right now, my guy just got 20 PAs with him. So he did get the 20 PAs, but he hasn't gotten a payout yet. So when he gets a payout, I can let you know. Just check in with me. I usually let this guy, my friend, I let him do it for me because I don't want to risk it. So he basically tests out all these prop firms. I have a whole list of them. So I think you asked about Elite Trader funding before, William. Definitely do not recommend that one. Yeah, my buddy, he's owed like I think 20K payout and they never paid him out. They gave him like some dumb reasons not to pay him out. But yeah, the thing with Fidias, I was gonna try out Fidias as well, but they don't support NinjaTrader, at least not yet. They have it coming soon, but they don't have it yet. But they're currently in a phase where he hasn't gotten paid out yet. So once he get paid out, I'll let you know. But right now, no payouts. He's funded. Just we got to make sure that they actually pay out. The same one you're asking for, William. William said, wait, which firm? The same one you just asked for, Fidias. That's the only one we're talking about. All right, so let's go back to the charts. There's nothing happening here, guys. I'm hoping there's something to happen soon, but there's just nothing happening here. So we got another range right here. Not range, we have another high-low. So you can see here that we have two high lows. Price is pretty much just going sideways at this point. You can hunt the lower level right here, but there's no V1 variation patterns. Yeah, no, I mentioned Elite Trader funding because you asked about that too, William. Elite Trader funding, you asked about that, and I told you that they were paying out. Now I confirm that they for sure are not paying out because they haven't paid out my friend, which they own like 20. He just gave up. He was like arguing back and forth with them, and then he now just gives a do not recommend for them. But yeah, Fidias, we don't have any confirmation of payouts yet. I don't know any. The only prop firms that I use are the ones that I know are paying out. Like if I have a confirmation from from this group that I'm in that payouts have been happening, then I will I'm basically in this group where like all the top traders from Apex before. So if you guys remember like when the Apex had the Discord, there's like another smaller secret group that we're kind of in. Like basically everyone who got payouts through Apex, we're all in this one group together. And and we're all kind of just helping each other with finding other prop firms. So yeah, if you guys have any questions regarding any other prop firms, I mean, feel free to ask. I can check with the group. There's a whole list of prop firms that have been tested. That's how I found out about Tradeify. So I found out about Tradeify because people in the group are using Tradeify, we're getting paid out, and that's why I started using them because I trust them. I don't know how long it's gonna last for, but right now they're still paying out, so they're good. Yeah, I kind of miss the old Apex Discord. It was cool back then when, I mean, it did get crazy after a while when they stopped paying people out, but um, thankfully, like one of the guys who got paid out a whole bunch in that group created a little secret group for us. And then we just kind of share information. Yeah, William said, damn, that's crazy. All these firms seem sketchy. There's a lot of firms though, like you probably want to stick to the main ones. Like I wouldn't recommend doing anything other than Apex. Like I know Apex is hard for a lot of people. The next one would be Tradeify, right? Apex and Tradeify. If you want to do Tradeify, they have a straight to funded. It costs a little more, but you don't have to do a whole eval phase. Yeah, if you want the link to trade, here, I'll put the link for Tradeify in the chat. You guys want to use it. Tradeify is cool. I got one payout from Tradeify. They pay out really quick. The only thing is that the payout does kind of suck because they limit you to like I think 3,000 per payout on the straight to funded 150K account. Yeah, there's like a promo going on. I think it's like 400. It's actually worth it because if you think about it, like if you do an Apex, you got to pay the activation fee. So say for example, you did Apex for like 2 months, that's like almost $100, and then you pay the activation fee, that's another $200, and then at that point you're already in the hole like $300. So if you pay 400, another $100 for Tradeify, you basically get the funded account right away. There's pros and cons to it. With Apex, the payout structure is still better because you get 90-10 split. And the first 25K, I think you get 100%. But for Tradeify, they cap you at like 3,000 per payout for like the first, I think, 3 to 6 payouts. And then from there, they move you to a live account. William said Top Step, MFF. No. I mean, I like Top Step, but they don't have NinjaTrader, so I don't trade with them. I only trade with firms that have NinjaTrader. And MFF, not so much. I don't like their rules. Well, not the rules, but I don't like their payout structure. So yeah, the only two that I can really or three actually, there's only three that I can really recommend would be Apex, Perdia Capital, and Tradeify. I'm only gonna recommend ones that I actually trust and I actually use. Like you guys know what happened to Fast Track. I never recommended Fast Track to you guys, and thank God I didn't because see how they went under like that. I'm very selective about which ones that I choose. Usually, like, you know, it's kind of a red flag if a firm doesn't have NinjaTrader, because NinjaTrader is like one of the most widely used, not NinjaTrader, but Tradeovate. Tradeovate and NinjaTrader are the same company. So Ninja owns Tradeovate or the other way around. So for a funding company not to have NinjaTrader or Tradeovate, it raises some really big red flags because why wouldn't Tradeovate want to do business with this prop firm, right? It's not hard to get a Tradeovate account with them. So yeah, I don't use any prop firms that don't have Tradeovate. All right, there's still nothing going on here, guys. Price is still going sideways. I'm still looking for an entry here, but I guess we'll see what happens in a few. Top Step is good, but again, like I said, they I don't know why they they market NinjaTrader. Like if you go to Top Step and you try to get NinjaTrader, they market it as an option, but when you actually sign up for it, it's a Rhythmic account. So it's annoying because you can only have one account with them. And I think Top Step is pretty expensive too compared to the competition. I don't even know if Apex is having promos right now. If you guys use my so if you guys are still looking to get Apex accounts, there's still a promo going on, but you just have to use the specific code that I have. It's like a secret code. I got this code from the admins. So if you use this code JJNIEOWR, you'll get a promo on Apex. If you go to the Apex website, they don't have a promo anymore. Like, so there's no more promo. But if you sign up for an account and you use this code here, this is the admin code. You'll still get a promo. I think you get 50% off still. So just make sure to use that code. You don't want to pay full price. I would never pay full price for an Apex account. And what I've heard is that Apex might be coming out with a straight to funded soon. So, I mean, you might want to just wait for that as well. Yeah, so you can see over here, if you use my code here that I just sent you, JJNIEOWR, you get 50% off any of the accounts. Otherwise, you pay the full price, 657. So, yeah, if you guys need that code, just let me know. Or just go to the Discord. Go to Discord, go to Funding Companies. The code for Apex is right here. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because people are paying full price for it. Just use the code. You get 50% off it. So you still get the highest promo. And then when they have a higher promo, like say for example, if Apex drops a 50% to the public, if you use the code that I sent you, the admin code, then you'll get even higher. You'll probably get like an 80% discount because it just stacks. Barack said essentially Tradeify is like FTMO only without eval or verification stages. Straight to funded. Yeah, basically, Barack. You just go straight into it, which is beneficial because I feel like the eval game is a scam, honestly. I think it's a little bit of a scam because you basically are making like for example, if you're doing a 300K account with Apex, you're doing you're basically making 20K like 3 times because you got to pass the eval, then you got to make the minimum, and then you can request a payout. So you're basically doing eval like 3 stages. It's bullshit, but I mean it is what it is. If you're consistent and you can hold, your profitability for that long, it's beneficial. But for most people, it's hard because it's just hard. Like I think a 300K account with Apex is probably like the hardest thing that you can do with regard to these prop firms because the split is so far off. Like you can only lose 7,000 and you have to make 20,000. So you basically have to make like almost 3 times your profit without screwing up. And then on top of that, you still have to make another buffer once you're funded. So the straight to funded model is cool. I think they're going to have a lot more of those moving forward. I think Apex is going to come out with it soon, and then I mean we'll see where it goes from there. Anyways, guys, there's still no entries here. There's a V1 variation pattern right here. It wasn't a V1 variation because there was no pending signal, but there was a pattern right here. So if you look over here, I'll just replay. There was a pattern here where there was a double body rejection. Unfortunately, there was no V1 variation, so I couldn't take that as an entry. Price did break out of this range. It's now pushing up to this upper range where price is currently at. And yeah, there's just not too much going on here. So if you guys are looking to take a market flow V2, entry would happen, looks like it would have filled already right here at the 110 mark. The only problem is that it's right at the opening price, so this would be considered a red flag. Right? If you wanted to get into that position, the 10 points would happen right there. That's where my trailing stop would have been at. And then we'll see if it pushes up any higher from where it's currently here sitting. All right. All right. So full TP right there. If you guys took that market flow V2, pretty big push to the upside. Let's see if there's actual opportunities here for entry now. So if you guys took that full TP right there, I didn't take the entry, so obviously I'm not going to count towards my stats. Yeah, it was a nice push right there. Yeah, let's say FTMO was cooked, crooked. Yeah, no, they were. I mean, FTMO was good. I wish FTMO was still available to us here in the US, but yeah, I mean, sucks. Yeah, and the problem is with FTT with fast track is that there's going to be more regulation now after that happened. It's crazy that it was allowed to happen here in the US. That's like it's so crazy how that happened. So we'll see what happens with that. Now that that's happened with fast track, I'm hoping that there's not going to be too many issues with like these other companies like Apex and stuff. I don't think the prop firm space is gonna go anywhere. It's just gonna be a little more regulated. Yeah, CJ said fast track came and went within a year. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, Rashida said I missed FTMO. Same here. Sorry, let me scroll up real quick. I like missed all of these questions right here. Patricia said, hold on, Shani said elite because I had no issues getting paid from them. Yeah, you're on so let me check over here. Is it the same one? It's called here, let me check it for you. It's called Elite Trader Funding. So yeah, so I'm not sure if you're talking about the same one, Patricia, but it's called Elite Trader Funding. This is the letter that let's see if I can pull that up over here. This is what they got. So yeah, I don't know if it's just the rules or whatnot, but they didn't get paid out. This was like the first time, and then they requested another one, and then it still didn't. So the group that I'm in, they got this, and then for the next one, they just kept giving him the same thing, but he wasn't doing any of these things. Here, let me see. Basically the same letter, so twice. And he was only requesting 1,500, so it wasn't even that much. So basically the same thing twice. They just denied his payout. And then there's another person in the group who had over 200K in balances and was going to be moved to live, but then their accounts got closed and then they blocked them off everything. So there's multiple people who have had issues with payouts from Elite Trader Funding. I mean, I'm glad it's working out for you, Patricia, but for the others, there's I have at least 3 people in the group that have had like payout issues. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's crazy that the guy he was supposed to be moved to a live with a 200K account or 200K in balances, and then they just blocked him, deleted his account, and then never heard from them again. So yeah, I'd be careful with certain companies. Or I mean, if you're getting paid out with them and if you already made your profit on them, Patricia, then I mean you're fine, right? If they ever screw you in the future, at least you got your money's worth with them. So yeah, CJ said Tradeify, do you still use a 1030 stop loss scalps? Asking because their consistency is 20%. No, so with Tradeify, I only use the I use the breakout entries, CJ. Tradify, they have a couple rules too with like they were kind of big on micro scalping. They don't let you hold a position, like you have to hold a position for like more than I think a minute or something like that, which is kind of annoying. So I don't scalp with them. I might open a separate account with them just to scalp to see if I get denied. But yeah, they have some specific rules. And I only take the breakouts with that account. So with the Tradify and the Protea, I take breakouts because the criteria. They don't like micro scalping. And I think the 10 points, I don't know if the 10 points is going to be considered micro scalping, but if it hits too fast, they'll consider it micro scalping. Like for example, if you take like a liquidity push, right? They might consider that micro scalping because it hits your TP within like a split second. But if you're taking something like, say, a breakout V3 continuation or a market flow V2, or that you hold on to the position for like a few seconds or even a minute, then in that situation, it's probably not going to be an issue. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's weird rules. It's weird rules, but they do that on purpose, right? So that they have a reason not to pay you out if it becomes necessary. But a lot of people abuse it though. So like I think that's the biggest part. It's not the fact that they're not trying to pay people out, it's because people try to abuse it with like arbitrage trading and the consistency rule is I think it's because of that one trader who used to have like 100-point stop loss and like a 1 point TP. That was crazy that someone trades like that. All right, so there's still nothing here right now, guys. There's a possible breakout V3 continuation that may be happening right here. If anybody is looking to take that, there's a lot of liquidity sitting up top, so this might be a good entry actually. Let's see, take it right there. Got a little late, but yeah, so this looks like it could be a possible decent breakout V3 continuation. There's a buy signal here following a green candle. There's a lot of liquidity sitting up here, so I had it running right now. Liquidity is just really, I mean, the volatility is just really slow. All right, so we got this right here pushing up. I'm just gonna watch it to make sure my stop loss gets moved in profit. So I'm waiting for this here I want a green candle to break and close past this this higher high, because this will be considered a high-low scalp. Yeah, this is basically like two strategies in one if it does close above it, but it didn't. So we'll see here if it ends up holding. And the volatility is really low right now. ATR is currently at 20. Thankfully, I got in for like a little bit of a discount. ATR is currently at 21 right now. Oh, I didn't even realize. So this is actually kind of a bad entry point, guys. I just realized it's at it's right at the top range. I should have checked the clean chart before I thought about entering this trade, but it's okay. I'm already in it, so I can't do anything about it. But it's currently above the top range right here, the range that we were talking about earlier. So I'm hoping what happens here is price actually pushes past the range and then probably swings from up here. But this was kind of a my bad entry. I should have looked at all the charts before I got into it. This would be considered more of a FOMO move, but it's all good. I'm already in it, so I'm just going to hold on to it at this point. Price is pushing up right there. Let's see if I get that stop loss in profit as price kind of pushes up a little bit. Just waiting for this to push up a little higher. $49. Let's leave it as it is. Where's this thing set out? 78. I mean, nonetheless, it's still a breakout V3 continuation. So it's not like it's just there's a lot of red flags there. And my stop loss got moved in profit. And I got stopped out right there in profit. All right, it's all good. So I locked in about 500 per account. Not horrible.
Order filled.
There you go, order filled. That's fine. I'd rather get out there with some profit than to get kind of caught in this a little longer. There's just too many things here that were kind of throwing me off, and it kind of felt like a FOMO move anyways. So the trade's still running if you guys are holding on to it. My stop loss got moved in profit and it kind of just sat there for a bit. So I mean, it's all good. The 10 points right there. Yeah, Lila said, sounds like Vegas casinos when you win big, they escort you out. Yeah, no, exactly. It makes that cha-ching noise when it gets moved in profit, my stop loss. So yeah, guys, I got out of that position right there. I mean, it's still a breakout V3 continuation position. It's just my entry was kind of off a little bit because I look back over here at the range and this isn't the same area where I said to look out for fake outs, right? I didn't bother to look at the clean chart. I should have, because this would have gave me the heads up like, hey, probably don't take this entry because you might get faked out. The fake out's probably still gonna happen. Like I said, it's probably gonna happen right there and come right back into the range. But I'm glad that I locked in some profit on there. So I'm gonna go over here, take a screenshot of this real quick. Clean this up. So entry for this was breakout V3 continuation, partial TP. Yeah, I'd rather be safe than sorry, of course. I would have got stopped out regardless at the 10 points. Yeah, I keep getting added by these fake profiles on Discord. I don't know why I accept them. I'm gonna ban this guy real quick. I know it's a fake account because this guy doesn't talk to me like that. Anyways, here's my trade for that. I mean, this is probably gonna hit TP at that point. But anyways, here is my trade right there. And then let me take a screenshot of my profits, and then I'm gonna wrap this up for the day. It's about to be 8 o'clock. So pretty solid. Made profits on both the accounts. The hedge fund and scalp accounts. All right, so let me close out my Ninja. Laptop is done. So the thing with the breakout, guys, now that we're flipping it with the data that I have, we actually would have all back-to-back wins for this week, which would have been really nice. Now that we've flipped it, it's gonna probably hopefully hit more of a streak. So anyways, here are my profits for the day. I took the breakout right here for a full TP. I locked in 1,500 on my personal account, and then the hedge accounts right here locked in about the same. We're at break even for the week. It's just fees right here. Basically, we took a loss on Monday, took a win today, and that's pretty much the entry. Here is my scalp that I just took. It was a breakout V3 continuation. Took it for a partial TP because my stop loss got moved in profit. Locked in about 450 right here. I was supposed to lock in 500, but it's okay. You know, when the stop loss gets moved in profit like that, sometimes slippage gets hit, and it is what it is. So those are my profits right there. Currently up about 1,800 per account for the week. Overall, it's been a decent week. Not a great week, but it's a decent week. Especially with all this choppiness, we're able to still lock in some pretty good profit. So if you guys have some profits to post up, feel free to send them in. There weren't very many opportunities here to take anyway, so not really expecting much to be posted today. But if you guys have anything posted up, feel free. It's 751 right now. As you guys can see, price is pretty much just going sideways. That fake out move that I marked up right here looks like it's starting to come back down into the range. But there just hasn't been very much movement for today. Let me just clean this up a little bit. I'll just show you guys again. So everything that happened outside of this range is basically a fake out, right? This range is basically where price has been sitting the entire session. Whenever price pushed outside of it, it faked out and pulled back in. Price pulled down below here, faked out, pulled right back in. Price pulled above here, faked out, pulled right back in, right? It's just the same it's the same thing, just repeating itself over and over and over again for today. So if you guys don't have to trade, I'd probably sit out, come back tomorrow fresh. We have more news tomorrow, so just keep that in mind. We got a lot of news for the rest of the week, guys. We have tomorrow initial jobless claims. We have jobs data tomorrow. And then on Friday, we have retail sales, some more inflation news. So we got a lot of news coming up. We'll see how this moves the market on open. Otherwise, that's about it for today, guys. Hopefully you guys locked in some good profit. I'm pretty satisfied with what I did for the day. Good profits on the hedge accounts, good profits on my scalp accounts. And yeah, we're good to move forward. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, this was a pretty solid trading day. It wasn't a great trading day, but solid, no losses, straightforward, sideways market all day. So if you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow.